Hello. Yeah, we're doing another one of these, but today is actually, I don't know, kind of a curious thing that I picked up. And not sure the standard review format that I usually do would work for these things, so turn it into a gimmick table, because this is sort of a gimmick that we're going to be looking at. So, anyways, I'm sure some of you are familiar with this. This is a vintage Nintendo Game Boy that first came out in 1989. Some of you have seen this before. Some of you are probably old enough to have played this back in the day. And by the way, this thing is turning 40 in a couple of years, so let that sink in. Anyways, we all know what this is. It's a Game Boy, plays Game Boy games, yada 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 yada. Now, imagine all the things you could do with a Game Boy. Play your games and Pokemon eventually became a thing. But you ever thought about using this as a personal planner, a phone book, a keeper of appointments, a calendar, a calculator, that sort of thing? Well, somebody did. InfoGenius Productivity Pack Personal Organizer for your Game Boy. Turns your Game Boy into a personal organizer of dates and addresses and phone numbers and things of that nature. It even has a calculator. For those of you who thought that calculator on the Switch eShop was the most egregious thing that you could find, well, this beats you to it. So we got a Game Boy loaded up. We're going to load it up. And we're going to put some batteries, because I don't have any. Oops. So we're going to pop those in. These are Energizer Ultimate Lithium, which are supposed to be long lasting, which I'm guessing that's the case because I haven't used. I actually have two Game Boys. This one's missing a few lines of pixels, as you could probably tell. And yeah. Okay, so let's try this again. How well you can be seeing this. Game Tech, Imagineering. There's a spell checker, that's nice, a travel guide, which is all wonderful. Now, of course, you got to put in your date. So keep track of your dates. Sounds about right. It is 12 a.m. Why not? Fuck. Anyways, we've got appointments. We've got calendar. We've got a phone directory. 800 numbers that are valid for, I guess this thing came out in 91, if I'm going by the copyright date. World time, calculator, and notepad. Very exciting. So get your appointments. So we get the review. And no appointments. Ooh, Fête Nationale Quebec, June 24th. Excellent. So, anyways, the way it works, you select things with the A button, and okay, so I guess you hold the B button, you go up and down, left, right, to change the years and the months, the calendar. You can go all the way up to 2099. Yeah, there's a couple lines of pixels missing from the screen here. It was already that way when I got this second hand, but you know, we'll switch it to. I got a Game Boy Color, which just to see this a little more. But anyways, you get the general idea. So yeah, calendar, just a calendar. Hold the A button, tells you all the holidays on each month and when. So this is, again, this is good up to 2099, which is quite nice. This Game Boy could be 100 years old and you'll still be able to produce calendars for that year. That's kind of nice. So if you want to go back to the main menu, or any menu for that matter, you press the start button. We have our phone directory, look up, and you just type up the name you want to look up. Look up. Phone directory, scan. Just go through your directories. Eddie sucks eggs. Excellent. TKO. Ba, 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 ba. You could write in whatever you want, but oh, there we go. There's John Cena. Milton. Yeah, there's some entries that are existing. There's some semblance of battery backup to keep track of your appointments and stuff like that, but there isn't one to keep track of time or the date. So I don't know what else to tell you. So you got a bunch of actual 800 numbers for a variety of things. Phone companies, publications, railroads, specialty stores, telegram, telemarketing, specialty stores. And you got the numbers. Don't ask if any of those numbers are still valid in 2026. I don't think they are, but yeah, it's just Not the most exciting thing, but it gets the job done, I guess. Home city, press A for use of standard time. Amsterdam, 12:05, 6:05 in Amsterdam. Back to the main menu. Calculator. You have a calculator on your Game Boy. Ain't that exciting? What's 51 plus 18? 69. Well, that's not nice. Anyways, and finally you have a notepad, and his name is John Cena. Oh, hold on. Anyways, and his name is John Cena. Do. And you could do like 4 pages of notes. That's like 2 lines a piece, so that's pretty exciting, I guess. But yeah, they made an organizer, a little pocket organizer for your Game Boy. And there's a battery backup. It, had a few entries, and I added a couple, obviously beforehand. And that's all there is to it. It's not really... And the funny thing is, they actually made a couple of these. I think they made another, like a dictionary and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah. A little personal organizer for your Game Boy. And it does function as it should. Why would you want to use something like that on this? I don't know. The novelty, maybe? Kind of, sort of. It's one of those things that you're just like, why did they do this? And the only answer you could come up with is, why not? Because if somebody could put the Bible onto a Game Boy cart, then why not a pocket organizer? So, that's it. There's not much to it. Yeah, that's how much it went for. Maybe a tad overpriced, but hey, you know what? It's the memories that'll produce. 11-minute video that's going to go on the YouTubes, and this is going into a shelf, and it's never going to be touched again.
And for those who want much cleaner footage of the app in action, because staring into camcorder recordings of a Game Boy screen that's barely lit is not the most comfortable thing, or doesn't give you the greatest clarity of sorts, here's some recording from a Super Game Boy of the app in action, the Gimmick, the utility program, whatever you want to call it. And yes, you have to insert a date and the time every single time you turn this thing on, because it may keep track of your phone numbers, your appointments, and a couple other things. It even has a notepad where you can 4 pages of notes, each comprising 2 lines of 18 characters apiece. So that's 36 characters per page, 4 pages. You're not going to have a whole lot of notes. Let me tell you something right there. But the address book could also serve as a notepad, so to speak, because you're not really... Anyways, it doesn't really matter. I mean, for what it does, it's fairly functional, given the limitations of what you have to work with, which is 2 buttons and a D-pad, start and select. Could somebody find some practical use for this thing back in the day? I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think I could find practical use for this today, but on the other hand, if you didn't have a pocket organizer, and honestly, who would, outside of business people who could afford such things, if you already had a Game Boy, this could have been a cheaper alternative, and I don't know. I'm still struggling to understand the appeal of this thing to an audience of children playing this thing and stuff. I don't know. For the record, I did check out the other entries of the info series to see if they exist. There's a travel guide, circa 1991, I'd imagine, and also a spell checker. Yes, they released a spell checker for Game Boy. Okay. So it's not just a one-off. There's other entries in this series, and I got nothing.
And I'll probably go back to playing Tetris on this thing because that's all it's good for with the missing pixels. I got a whole bunch of Game Boys. Oh, I only got like 2 of these Game Boys. Just that this one's missing a few lines, but the screen's a little nicer. The other one has a bunch of gunk in the bottom. I could have played it on this, but the the Game Boy Color, this one's actually modified to have like a backlit screen, but I gotta switch the batteries on this. Like so there. It's I think it's one of those mods that they sold online a few years back where, you can change the colors and stuff like that, which I thought was kind of nice, and I bought it for like a couple $100 at my usual flea merchant who is no longer in business, happily retired. Hope he's doing well. And oh shit, we've gone over 11 minutes. Fuck. Anyways, that was the InfoGenius personal organizer for Game Boy. It's a thing that exists, and it works the way it's supposed to. That's all I can really say about it. So, anywho, thanks for watching. Till next time, take care, be safe, good night. Hopefully next week, for next Sunday, I got something else in mind. And then, hopefully after that, I'll finally have that. Well, we'll save it for next time. Anyways, bye.